I haven't done front squats in a little while now, and today I decided to do them. And I did notice a bit of a change in how I go about front squatting. You guys probably won't see the difference, but I definitely felt a difference or how I approach front squats. I feel much more upright, much more upright. I feel like my stance is a little bit wider. I feel like my feet are turned out a little bit more. I feel like I am biasing different muscles in my body. For a few weeks now, I've been doing a lot of bodyweight squats. And the way I've been doing the bodyweight squats is basically wider stance. So I would call this wide stance. For a lot of people, it's normal stance, but I'm somebody that's kind of tends to go more towards narrow. When I say narrow, I'm talking about like within shoulder width. And because of all these repetitions of doing wide, even though there's no weight on me at all, it's just pure body weight, it's unlocked, a different stance in me. I feel much more comfortable even with the bar on my back now with a wider stance. And what that's done is allowed my torso to stay more upright. I could sit in between my ankles, and I just generally feel like I'm able to feel strong in a more upright, wide stance kind of position. I know so many people say different cues to help different lifters. Stick your chest up, look up, just stay more upright, get on your heels, stay more upright. And for some reason, the thought that I had is always cueing doesn't work. How do you cue something that doesn't exist? I want you to use your quads. My friend, I don't have quads. I can't use quads. My 1 rep max is solely based on posterior chain. Telling me to use more quads with a max weight means nothing to me. The muscles which you want me to use don't exist. They don't have the strength to tolerate my near maximum weights. Yeah, sure, I can, do what you want me to do at 50%, 60%, maybe even 70% of my 1 rep max. But the moment we get to 75 and above, I'll start to deviate away from your cue, and I go into something that works for me based upon the strengths that I have. It's kind of like if you're playing basketball and you've got Shaq on your team. It makes no sense to be jacking up threes, run and gun type of game, kind of like the Warriors playing right now. Kind of like the Houston Rockets from 5 years ago. Shooting a shot within 5 seconds, 7 seconds of the shot clock. Makes no sense. Shaq is not going to be in the post. He's going to be stuck in between the 2 3-point lines, just running up and down, and he's going to be rendered completely useful. To use Shaq and his, top 10 skill of all time, you need to slow the ball down, wait for him to establish positioning deep down in the post, feed the ball, and let the man get 2 points for you. Probably a foul, potential 3 points, but knowing him, will probably miss the free throw. That's your strength. That is your strength. You have Shaq. It is easy to go to your point guard, let's bias Shaq. We want to bias Shaq because he's the best player in the team. Let's get the ball to him. That's fine. You can bias a strength. But how do you bias a weakness? Say you have Steph Curry in the team, and you're like, no, we want to get the ball deep inside the post for Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't play in the post, man. He can't play in the post. You got to get him outside. So you can bias him all you want to get the ball to Steph Curry in the paint. It's not going to work. He does not have the skills. He does not have the structure of a player that can dominate inside the paint. Similarly, when somebody says to me, try and stick your chest up, Ivan, and you're going to be more upright. It doesn't work, man. I do not have access to something that you want me to have. I just don't have it. And so this biasing idea, while it might work for some people for minor, technical adjustments, for the majority of people, I feel like there is a weakness there. This is why your body is doing what it's doing, because it's trying to use the path of least resistance. It's trying to use what it has. You can't coach somebody into something they don't have. You have to develop that, and that doesn't happen with 3, 4, 5, 6 words, a sentence. That happens over months on end. Okay, Ivan, what we're going to do now is we're going to work on your quads. We're going to work on the wide stance. We're going to try and keep your torso really, really upright. We're going to go body weight, and we're going to chase hundreds and hundreds of reps, if not thousands of reps a week. No problem. I can do that. There's no weight on my back. I don't have to seek path of least resistance because the whole resistance is so low that I can use whatever you want me to use. But if you were to put 80% on my back, all of a sudden Ivan reverts back to what he's always done, and that's to use the posterior chain to squat. So I think there's a very, very dangerous point of working up to a single level training session or relying solely on too heavy of a weight. Say you're working with 75 and up, and that's all you're ever doing. The chances of you hitting anything other than your strengths is very low. You're always going to go back to what works. What works for me is glutes, hamstrings, leaning over, lower back. That's where my strengths are. You load that type of weight on me every single day. Every single day I'll be using the strength. I will not be touching, I will never be sore in my quads. And this be my experience. I'm never sore in my quads. But the moment you take all of the weight off my back, you widen my stance, I'm not comfortable in it, but because there's no weight on me, I can do it. And you get me to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps of bloody bodyweight squats. The following day I wake up and I've got DOMs in my quads. Isn't that funny? What happened there? What happened there? We used our weaknesses. We used our weaknesses. You cannot bias me to use my weakness when the weight's heavy. It's impossible. You cannot tell me any words. This shit is so heavy, I'm just trying to survive. I want to survive this rep. This is why lifting heavy all the time is very, very detrimental. And let me tell you, man, I've been in that boat for a very long time. Hitting singles, triples, doubles, fives every single day for months on end, if not years on end. And I never felt a better technique. I always felt like I was deviating away, more and more away from the quads. My deadlift is shooting up when I squat. My deadlift is flying up when I squat. Why? It's because my freaking squat is doing the muscles which are required for the deadlift. My squat isn't moving because I'm deadlifting each squat. I'm too leaned over, man. Lower the weight to something really embarrassing. Body weight. Embarrassing to who? I don't care about anybody else. Embarrassing to your own self. I know I felt that. Like, this is really weird, man. Like, I've been squatting for years and I'm, being rendered down to bodyweight squats. If that's not a sign of regression, I don't know what is. Was one of my thoughts. Nah, man. The bodyweight squat has helped me. It's opened my hips up. I feel better mobility in the knees, ankles, hips. I feel like I'm better throughout. I'm much more fuller in my legs, in my adductors. Just feel healthy overall, purely because I've been squatting body weight. And because the stance is a little wider than my normal, now my barbell normal squat feels a little bit better when it's a little wider. And when I go into a front squat, I can step more upright because my stance is a little wider. But if I continue to squat with the barbell, 70-80% all the time, hitting very, very heavy weights day in, day out, I would have never developed this comfort in a wide stance. It's interesting. So all of these people, like, you see videos all the time with people like, I want you to envision this. I want you to feel this. All right, Steph Curry, man, I want you to post up Shaq, and I want you to feel him. And the moment you feel the pressure, I want you to spin and then let it up. You can spin, duck, weave, front sold, back sold, somersault, roll this way, roll that way, fake him that way. Do whatever the hell you want to do. He's going to block your shot. You do not have it. If you want to dominate Shaq, you got to put on another 200-300 pounds on your frame. You got to grow another foot to maybe 2. Now you can deal with Shaq. We have to address our weaknesses if you want to change whatever you want to change. You need to work out what is going on. What is going on? I've gone back and forth many times of trying to work out how to get upright. Do this muscle, that muscle, hamstrings, quads, adductors. Is it the calves? Is it the tibialis anterior? Is it ankle mobility? How do I do this? Is it the hip flexors? Iliacus, psoas, rectus femoris, blah, 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 blah. How about you forget all of that? You strip all of the weight back, and you just squat upright, in whichever position you're going to put your feet, you just make sure you squat upright. What does that look like? That looks like a bodyweight squat, feet turned out, wider stance. And you do it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps, just staying upright. All of a sudden, the muscles which are required for you to stay upright are going to start to hypertrophy. They're going to start to strengthen because you have taken the position which you want to be in. Let everything else sort itself out. You just do what you want to do. Regress that shit back to 0 kilos and go from there. How do you want to move? Move that way. Start with no weight and get up. Instead of trying to surgically analyze, identify which muscles is at fault, picking apart like a surgeon, which way, which strand, that strand, too hard. Go back to the basics. How do you want to squat? Really upright. Then squat really upright, whichever way you want to do. If you have to have your feet really, really wide apart, do that. And as you put in hundreds and hundreds of reps, you're going to start to feel like you can bring your feet a little narrower, a little narrower, a little narrower, and all of a sudden you've basically reverse engineered how you're moving. That's been my experience so far with this squat. Just bodyweight squats. The 160 felt heavy today. I mean, I'm under the weather right now. I've got a headache, sore throat, all that stuff. But 160 felt really good. I felt stacked, right? And that's that word that really resonates with me. When I feel stacked, I feel like my joints are on top of each other, and I'm not leveraged out of the movement, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not fighting against a uphill battle. I feel like I'm working in unison. All of my joints are kind of stacked, right? That's the feeling I get. It's poppy. I'm feeling poppy. Even though, like, I'm 20 kilos away from my max, I felt poppy. That's really important to me. Bodyweight squats. It's funny, man. Funny how a set of 40 of squats or hundreds of squats total per day can bring about this hip opening. I haven't stretched at all, boys. Like, I've not done any stretching. I've just done bodyweight squatting. And my hips feel good. The hip pain is not even, I can't even see the hip pain in my rear view mirror. That's how good it is right now. Bodyweight squats. I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.